Welcome back. Did you know February is International Boost Self-Esteem Month? Who knew? We happen to have an expert available who focuses on discovering a rooted identity from which self-esteem can bloom. Dr. Eric Moyer joins us now in the studio, and we're happy to have him. Dr. Eric, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
All right, so talk to us about what, in your opinion, is going wrong with folks building self-esteem.
Well, self-esteem is one of these activities where it has become where people from the outside have to build up someone's self-esteem. But self-esteem, just by the name of it, is self-esteem. It's something that comes from what we're doing in the way that we perceive ourselves. So whenever I talk with people about that idea of self-esteem, I kind of use the word humility, which is actually a word that kind of gets a bad rap. Instead of it being looked at as someone having a low self-esteem or a low self-opinion of themselves, humility is really this idea of having an accurate view of who you are, an honest perspective of who you are. So you're not allowing yourself to have a low self-esteem or an overinflated self-esteem, but you're trying to be this person who really sees yourself honestly as who you are, so that you can, whether it's a good time, a bad time, an up time, or a down time, you're kind of rooted in that honest perspective of who you are and what you can do.
When I hear humility, what I'm hearing you say is like acknowledge that there's so much to accomplish in this great wide big world, and that you do play a part in it, but that necessarily that doesn't have to say I'm bad, I'm wrong.
That's exactly right. There are so many options out there and so many opportunities, and I think so many times we've been given the message of, well, you can do anything and everything. I want people to recognize that you are valuable, you are worthwhile, you have a purpose and a role to play, but it doesn't mean that you have to do everything. Figure out who you are, figure out what you were meant to do and meant to be, and really focus on that, because then you can really grow in those strengths and you're going to be able to find that place of joy, of peace, of fulfillment, because that's where you're going to be walking into, instead of trying to be something that someone else may have kind of led you to go.
And I also think when I hear humility, think about your terms of scale. Because maybe you want to be Mother Teresa, but actually you could do so much good if you just helped out at your local soup kitchen.
Oh yeah.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I actually had one person who caught on to this idea and says, okay, so what you're telling me is, if I was meant to be a teacher, why would I ever want to be the President of the United States?
Right.
Because that's not what I was meant for. That's not what I was created for. And yes, that he does an amazing amount of stuff for the world, but my fulfillment's going to be found in teaching a classroom of kids. Like my wife was a preschool teacher. And she made such an impact over the years that she was a preschool teacher, and parents and kids still connect with her over Facebook. And they're now parents, and she taught them when they were 3 years old.
Oh, how sweet. And a good reminder that you're still molding lives. It just might be on a different scale.
Absolutely.
Than you thought it was. Okay, we've got 4 P's: principles, perspectives, purposes, and priorities, and it helps determine our mental health. Touch on that for me.
Well, in the book, I take the idea of identity, and it's such a big topic, identity, who we are. And I break it down into a framework that's really easy for people to grasp. It's principles, perspectives, purposes, and priorities. Truths we believe, perspectives, how do we interpret, how do we see things? Purposes, what am I all about? What motivates me? What gets me up in the morning? And priorities, what are the things that, if I was going to say, these are the most important things that I'm going to do, what are those things that I will sacrifice other things, but I'm going to make sure I'm going to get these things. So mental health is really about aligning those things with who we really are and living out of those. If we can get those right, then we're going to be walking into, living into, becoming who we were meant to be. But we're going to find out that we're not trying to, as I said earlier, do something that someone else has wanted us to do. I think the Olympics has been a big thing on the past couple of weeks.
It's painful to watch a 16-year-old get gold. Can I tell you that? Because as someone who compares themselves, I'm 20 years older than that, you know what I mean? But these are people who are doing what they feel they were born to do.
Well, one of the great stories I loved is the figure skater who won the gold at 15 years old.
Yeah.
And then basically said, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
And walked away and left for 2 years. But then she came back. And they say that she's an even better skater now than she was back then, because she finally moved from doing the ice skating, which she was very gifted at, because someone else wanted her to do it.
Yes.
And she finally got into the place that she figured out, this is what I love to do. And I'm going to do it the way that I feel like I want to do it. And she skated amazingly, but it's because she finally took on that autonomy and that authenticity of being who she really was meant to be.
That's a really good point. Finally doing it for yourself, but it took her walking away.
Exactly.
Reevaluating, much like you lead people here through the book, in order to get to that point. Let's talk about why the cure for burnout, which is such a big word. We use it all the time nowadays because it's so common. It isn't a boost. It isn't an injection into your self-esteem, but instead kind of a return to our original design.
Yeah, just like you said, I think a lot of times whenever we burn out and we're doing things because we don't know why we're doing them anymore. Sometimes what we need to do is we need to pull back and we need to reflect. We need to think about, okay, why am I doing what I'm doing? Am I doing it because I'm just now in this rut that I've been doing things this way all along?
And it happens so often when you're in a career 10, 15, 20 years, you just keep going.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what you're doing is you get into this performance identity, which I've written about. And you're just about doing the next thing, getting the next promotion, doing the next project. But sometimes you get to the point you have to go, why am I doing this? Is this really what I'm meant to do? Or sometimes there is an opportunity to transition. And whenever those opportunities come, we need to sometimes take that opportunity and look at the possibilities and not just try to get back into the same ruts that we've always been in.
I think that makes a lot of sense. It's a really fresh look at yourself. Very cool stuff. We'll have to leave it there. Dr. Eric, we really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All right. Dr. Eric Moyer is one of many wonderful local authors represented by PR by the Book. Learn more about redeeming identity by going to redeemingidentity.com. And you can learn more about other great works at prbythebook.com.